Eitz Chaim, the Chumash that we use at Beth Judea includes the Hebrew text of the Torah and a scholarly translation into English, and 3 kinds of commentary below the line. One of them explains the words and the phrases of the text. A second provides the moral and intellectual teachings based on the text. And then a third kind of commentary provides halacha l'ma'aseh, which is practical laws that derive from the text of the Torah. When you look at the reading in our Chumash this week and notice that a page lacks commentary, you might suspect that that section of the Torah arouses little interest on any of those levels. But when 3 of the 7 pages that are read have no commentary whatsoever, as we've had this past Shabbat, you know you might be in trouble. Because this Shabbat we read the last third of the Parsha called Naso, which deals exclusively with the gifts brought by each of the tribes to the now completed tabernacle, the Mishkan in the wilderness. But the Torah doesn't simply mention the fact of completing the Mishkan, it describes each of the tributes brought by every one of the tribes. A passage made perhaps even drier than it might otherwise be by the fact that every gift is exactly the same. The question that reading forces us to deal with is whether any meaning can be drawn from the reiteration of the same words over and over, changing only the names. And in the realm of our own experience, is there any significance to an act that is repeated, seemingly endlessly, to those who actually take part in that act? This section reminds me of a political party's convention. You know, when they nominate someone for their party's presidential nomination and say, the great state of Illinois casts its 37 electoral votes for the next president of the United States, blah, 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 blah. When your state makes its announcement, that's exciting. But for any of the other 49 at any given moment, But in the same way, we can read the lists of the tribe's offerings and we can recognize how it may have been experienced when read aloud among the members of the tribes. From the great tribe of Reuven, first among the sons of Leah, the eldest child of Jacob, settled east of the Dead Sea, comes Elitzur, son of Shteur, and his offering, 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver basin of 70 shekels by the sanctuary weight, and so forth. It's not as easy to maintain interest when a series of actions or events appear to be the same. Do you have any idea, by the way, how many times the cantor and I have officiated at weddings, at funerals, at baby namings, and at bar and bat mitzvahs? When you add all these things up, you might think that each of them is the same over and over again, but what makes each of them special, despite their superficial similarities, are the personalities of the people involved and our feeling of a distinctive connection to those people. Now, each week when we have a bar bat mitzvah, those students bring something special to our services. By tailoring the services and our words about those individuals to them specifically, we feel that day is really different from all of the others. In addition, what each of our students brings to the services differs one from the next. Some students are louder, some softer, some speak longer, some shorter. Some students lead everything in the services from top to bottom. Others do just a few elements. In all of these ways, each service on Shabbat and each celebration in the life cycle event is distinctive for those of us who are present at the time. And for those who are present at Shabbat services a bit less often, it's also special because being there at a time when they wouldn't normally be there creates another special kind of presence in itself. Finally, being a participant in one of a series of events can make us feel part of something larger than our own experiences. Seeing those who are older than us become bar or bat mitzvah or graduating from school, and then reaching that milestone ourselves, we can feel that we are part of a tradition, part of a people. Each of us is a link in a chain going forward and backward in time, connecting one generation to the next. And so Naso's list this week of repeated offerings, one tribe after another with the same exact elements, reminds us that what might otherwise appear to be a list undifferentiated by anything but the name at the top of each paragraph can be actually understood and experienced as a series of distinctive acts, at least to those who are active participants in the reading or in the act itself, in their time or in ours. The key is to pay close attention, to take part whenever possible, and to recognize how fleeting our moment in the sun is, so that we can appreciate it all the more. Shabbat Shalom.